Everybody, to another episode of Mind Over Matter. This episode is more geared towards religion. So, spoiler, if you're not into religion or it triggers you, go ahead and just click off this right now. But a couple weeks ago, I had a religious awakening, almost a speed bump. I had a couple questions to ask myself, and so I asked them to Kevin, and of course, Kevin had the idea of bringing them to everybody. So we brought it to a couple other people. We got Devooo and Brandon on here today to talk about it. Two good qualified people to come on and talk about it. We got some good stuff in here, fellas. Go ahead and hit them links below. We got website up, merch drop, all that good stuff. Thanks everyone for the support and hope you enjoy the show. And we're live. Let's go, baby. Starting off hot, Devooo in the building, KD in the building, Brandon in the building, T-Rev. Let's go. We got a four-way for the first time, fellas. How are we feeling?
Oh, great.
All
So we don't really have too much of an agenda here, which is I'm very, very happy about because we got four people. We're gonna have a lot to say. Let's dive deep on that one. And Devooo, I know you got one in the chamber.
You ready, man?
Yeah,
You ready to hear it, dude?
let's do it.
All right.
Better be.
Have you ever been slapped by a wet spaghetti noodle by your uncle's gay boyfriend and forced to drink warm mayonnaise on the 4th of July under the sparkle of America with the scorching heat from Satan's asshole while getting bathed by a monkey from the movie Planet of the Apes while that monkey is eating a taco from Jack in the Crack, which is the biggest plot in this entire intro? That's what it's like to drive a Ford F-150. Superman actually was supposed to be named Ford Man, but they couldn't go with it because the sheer awesomeness and strength of the Ford F-150. You think you've seen everything America has to offer until year in and year out, the Ford F-150 brings you something new and more powerful before. You think a Panzer could even try to stop a Ford F-150? There is no possible chance. You know the true reason Hitler lost World War II. Ford F-150. Built tough.
Available at Walmart.
That's all my notes.
God damn it.
What is fucking Ford paying to write that?
God damn it.
Dude, how are we going to stop that? I feel like that's how we should end it.
All right.
I'm sending it in the chat, dude.
With
That's
that,
all.
we got merch live. Thank you, everybody, for supporting us. Links down in the description. Go support Ford. Go support us, and we'll catch you next time. No.
What did it sound like? Fucking 2 minutes?
Yeah, dude.
Write that off again.
I mean, look at your phone, right? That's literally all I have.
Golly.
Oh, no. All right. So, I've run into a couple issues recently, and of course, by coincidence, Steve Harvey popped up on my YouTube channel under the suggested. So your boy watched him. I'm a big fan of Family Feud, and I know he's got a morning show.
By coincidence.
Steve Harvey in the morning.
You already know. And so I tapped in, and I think I'm a believer in God now.
No. What did he say? Must have been pretty compelling.
No, it's basically I've been looking all around, like as Devo said already, we covered that each episode I've mentioned coincidences, and I don't know where they're coming from, and it's taking up a lot of my mind and brain power trying to figure out where all these coincidences come from. And then I watched Steve Harvey today on YouTube. Just an hour-long clip. I can link it down below. And he was saying everything that I've been thinking. He was saying, but also putting, fitting God into it somehow. And I was like, wait a minute. Steve Harvey's rich. I like his suits. I've always idolized his suits.
Got good suits, bro.
He's got nice teeth, great mustache. Always wanted to look like him. No, Always wanted to be like him, though.
What the fuck?
He's a funny guy. Funny guy, has a great life, it seems like. And I was like, wait a minute, this guy's been preaching this shit for a minute. And so called Daler, let him know about that, and he came up with the idea of talking about our religious journeys and where we're at, where we're trying to go. If we're not trying to do that, though, we didn't push this by Devo, so I don't know. But we could talk about that or spiritual journey.
I was gonna say it don't have to be like a religious thing. It could be more of like a spiritual thing.
Yeah, I know. I kind of want to just dive into Brandon's spiritual journey because he wanted me to hop on, but I wasn't like paying attention. I guess wasn't woke.
Okay, man. So when you talk about like you believe in God now, and I feel that like. When you think about the coincidences that happen in this world, we've already talked about previously that coincidences don't happen. There's no such thing as coincidences, right?
Right.
There has to be some type of force at work, right?
Yeah.
And when you were talking, the first thing that I could think of is like, you're listening to Steve Harvey, or like when you're doing something and you really resonate with that, there's a reason why you are supposed to hear that. You know what I mean? Like you are now at a point in your life where you were supposed to hear this message. You were supposed to receive this message and grow from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not a coincidence. It's been something I've been searching for too, so I've been trying to figure this out. I talked to my whole health advisor or counselor, or whatever you want to call it, for the VA like a month ago. Saying like, I don't know what it is, I don't know what's going on, but I think I should read the Bible. Just on my own time. She's like, yeah, you should. And then, yeah, this popped up. And here we are. But it's like also, Steve Harvey grew up in Cleveland. So he's, I guess you could say, a little hood, as am I. So the way he speaks, Kevin, you're muted. The way he speaks really resonates with me, just like the way he talks and the words he uses.
He just speaks facts.
Straight facts.
He's not trying to like persuade you into thinking something. Like he's just literally talking from the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, what he thinks, yeah. Kev? Oh, working on it. All right, Devo, what you got?
Both these.
I don't know, man.
You asked if we were going to talk about coincidences, so here's your shot.
I know. And I'm gonna play. Like, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna play the devil's advocate, because like I'm not super religious, but I fall more into the fucking North Pantheon type deal, But like I brought up the other day, and like I'm not trying to shit on anyone's parade or anything, but just curious, a coincidence or the timing and everything. Like, what's the difference of me shitting at 6:35 a.m. versus 6:20 a.m.?
What?
Well, like Trevor and I were talking about coincidences, and then Trevor brought it up. He's like, "Well, what if you missed a what if you missed a hectic car crash at 6:20 because you decided to take a shit at 6:30 and not 6:20?" But
Yeah, so like if that happened to you, you would like what I mean, like that's just something that happens, like
like, is everything a coincidence, or is like everything meant to be at that specific time?
Fucking why didn't you
That's
die
what I was
then?
just trying to ask. Say, why didn't I die?
Why didn't you die on the road then? Why didn't you get hit by? Why weren't you the one struck by that lightning that day?
Because I'm a safe driver. Duh.
so like it's all just up to chance though? Like are you even a person at that point? How are you not just a bunch of neurons firing?
I basically am. I mean,
Oh my
you guys
God.
know me.
Like do you think you have like a soul?
That's depressing.
Like do you have a
That's
soul?
real funny,
Devo?
Kevin. Yeah, I just talked to the ginger about having a soul.
I had
Yeah,
right
yeah,
on
real
one.
funny. Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
Ah ha ha.
Aha.
I don't know.
So
So the
the
answer
quick
that-
answer is no.
Yeah, I don't know how to
Hello.
answer it. I've been told all my life I don't have a soul. So
I mean, what do you think though?
I mean, I would assume so. Like I got a conscience, so like
That's something.
I'm not
We're
an
working.
NPC in this world, at least.
So you like believe in the concept of the soul?
I mean, I don't know.
Because like to me, if we don't think that we have souls and we're not like more than kind of people in like the abstract sense, then we're just a big collection of neurons firing and atoms put close together. It's like, what are we? We're really just nothing then. It's all just
Right.
up to chance.
I like how so I don't know if you guys remember Joe Rogan. He's talking about just a small snippet. He was like, I am a soul piloting this human flesh vehicle
Like a
or
mess.
something along the lines of that, right?
Yeah.
And what I took from that was you're right. Like I am a soul in this human body having a human experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we definitely have a soul. And I think that we have a separate mind, which is tied to the world, if that makes sense. Like everything that you have taken on up to this point, you've learned, you've taken on a certain culture, a certain education, right? You had a certain upbringing, you had a certain religion, you had all these things that kind of formed what your mind is and how your mind thinks, but your soul deep down is an entity that is just
Yeah, your soul,
experiencing
like,
this.
yeah, a good way to like explain it is like a gut feeling.
Yeah,
A gut feeling is your soul. Is your soul talking to you?
No, I mean I can kind of see where Devo's coming from on that though. Like all a gut feeling is like your instincts kind of kicking in, and like that only kind of happens through evolution.
Is your soul kicking in and your mind stopping?
Mm, I don't. I mean, if it's like a gut feeling, like I just don't feel right about it. Like I think my mind is still working. Like
I think your mind inspires the soul what to do.
yeah, it's like my mind is like being aided. Now the question is being aided by what or whom?
right.
Because you could just as easily attribute that to evolution as you could something more spiritual.
Hmm.
So it's like, well, okay, what do you attribute it to?
Right. I think no matter whatever you're attributed to, deep down you know right from wrong.
Yeah,
Like if someone told you to kill somebody, you know deep down
depend on who. Yeah.
what's right or wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Even if it is someone, okay, even if it is fucking Hitler, all right, not vouching for him in any way. However, you know that as a person, killing another person would be wrong deep down, right? But your mind, however, has put together the facts of everything that Hitler has done. So your mind would be telling you, no, this dude needs to die because he's going to create some fuckery, right?
Huh.
But deep down, killing another human being is wrong. You don't have that. I don't want to say right to choose who lives or dies, because in a religious sense, is you're playing God. You're choosing who gets to live and who dies.
Yeah, that's why you say everyone gets to live.
What do you mean?
Like
That's like what you're saying, like you know not to murder everyone. So if you live by everyone gets to live, then you don't have to choose. You're not playing God. He is.
Right.
how would a soldier reconcile that though? Like if we're in positions where we may have to take someone's life, like
The
I'm,
soldier has to believe that he's taking the life for a good reason.
mm,
If he
Yeah.
doesn't, then you don't have a good soldier. You have a robot.
Yeah, someone that's just following orders.
Yeah.
Like at the have y'all seen the Planet of the Apes movie? I think it's the second
But
one.
no, it's no.
Mother, have you seen it, Devo?
Yeah, I'm just laughing because he brought up Taylor, he brought up Planet of the Apes. My intro was really good.
It's a fucking good intro, dude.
Hey, we're trying to catch all spectrums, buddy.
Yeah, no, where he's holding on to the evil monkey, and the evil monkey's like, ape, no kill ape. And he goes, you are no ape. And he fucking lets him die, dude.
Bro, spoiler. All right.
Bro, that
Jesus
movie's fucking
Christ,
came
bro.
out like 2014, bro. If
Yeah,
you
I was gonna
haven't
say
seen it,
2014.
like, bro, if you haven't seen it
Jesus
by
Christ.
now, yeah, Koba dies, bro. Shout out to Koba.
No, but it did get to a point where like I was almost frustrated that I didn't know the answer. That I didn't know the how to everything, because we know the who, what, where. Like I'm here. Why God put me here to do what? I have to figure out what to do what. Oh. And then the how, but like how did we get here? And then I was listening to all these scientists speak on Lex Friedman. I could link those down below, and even they were religious. And I was like, bro. So these guys who've been studying this shit their whole life, trying to literally figure out how to create more life to figure out how we got here, and even they're religious because they still don't have the answer.
You know what that is, dude? Is the Dunning-Kruger effect. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
It's basically like people who know a little bit about something are really confident that they know a lot, but people that actually know a lot realize that there's a lot that they don't know.
I love that.
Like
That makes perfect sense.
business, like supply and demand. KD.
Shut the fuck up, Devo.
Devo, do you
No,
not
like-
know supply and demand, bro?
Let me get fucking Jo on here. Learn you up, Devo. No, that's an inside joke, bro. If you know, you know. No, but pretty much though, like if you got like a newer guy, like at maintenance or whatever, he thinks he knows everything, but the dude that actually knows everything realizes how much he doesn't know. So I
Yeah.
think that's what you have there is like you have these scientists and they realize that it's like there's so much that an equation can't solve. And then it's like, well, okay, how do you reconcile that?
Yeah.
If you, especially if you're a scientist, it's like everything in your life is like you have equations for everything. You put shit in calculators. I don't know how exactly it works, but like you just kind of figure shit out. But then it's
Said
like,
you
well,
pour it from one beaker to the other,
yeah,
and then back into the other one, and then you
and
just
then
keep
some
going
shit
back
happens.
and forth with a lab coat on.
Yeah, but it's like when you kind of encounter something that you can't do that with. What do you attribute that to?
So that's basically what happened to me.
What do you mean?
Sorry, I was gonna
Like-
say you bringing that up, Kevin. That kind of helps me answer some of Trevor's questions: the who, why, who, what, when, where, how. And you have some of the answers, right? Who, you, where,
Mhm.
you're here on this earth. Why? Who fucking knows?
Oh.
But it kind of makes some of those questions irrelevant, right? You're saying like these scientists are trying to figure out, or you said the more you learn, the more you discover that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
me, that kind of points to the what or the why or the how isn't really irrelevant. The what is to have a human experience. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that is very vague because everyone's experience is going to differ, you know, and it's up to you to interpret what your reasoning is, I guess.
Only you know. Yeah, so Steve Harvey put it this way. He said, find out what your gift is, because everyone's been given a gift. And what your gift is whatever comes easiest to you and you're good at it. So for me, like, I'm easiest at helping people and I enjoy doing it. That's just what comes easiest to me. I'm best at thinking. That's just what comes easiest to me. And I enjoy doing it. So I need to put these together. Boom, now we got something going. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's all up to you. Only you know. You can't bring your imagination to someone else or your dream or what you want to do to someone else. They don't know. They will not know. I texted Daylor a Steve Harvey quote again, and it was you can't bring your imagination, your big imagination, to this small-minded person. They're gonna easily shoot it down because they can't see it. Of course they're gonna be like, dude, yeah, good luck. When I go tell someone I'm gonna own a gym, of course they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, dude, good luck, because they can't see it. I can see it. I can see my logo on the front building right now.
But like
And
they
you are
don't.
not. Sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
No, I'm sorry. They don't know how much they don't know.
Yeah. And you thinking, like, you seeing that, you can see your logo on the front building. You are manifesting your future. You can see the future that you want ahead of you. Like,
Yep.
you've started this podcast and it's been successful. You know, you are working towards the steps to putting that logo on a building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're manifesting something in the future.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that I ended up deciding I want to go to church Sunday. So I will be there. But there's just a lot, like ask and you shall receive. He was talking about that. And you can ask, but you're not going to receive it if you have no room to receive it. So if you have this old, like, one of his things was, Mom, I'm coming home. I'm coming home every day for my job, and I'm saying, Mom, I'm going to buy a new car. And she kept doubting me. Hey, your old car's in the back. Come home the next day. Mom, I'm buying a new car. And he kept doing it for 2 weeks. And his mom said, your old car's in the back. Finally, he got the old car. Boom. Now he's got a new car. Mom, I got a new car. She said, you're not going to be able to receive a gift if your old bullshit is still right there. You have to make room for it.
Yeah. Almost like you have to let go of something to make room for the thing that you want.
Close one door, another opens.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've always said, bro, like energy isn't created or destroyed. It's only transferred.
Yes, sir.
So, like Devo, you said you believe in like a god per se.
Multiple, yeah.
Okay, because that was like it's a question that I've been trying to answer with people who like don't believe in any god. It's like, but they all seem to believe in aliens.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, do you see more evidence for aliens than you do evidence for God on Earth or a god?
A god, I don't know, because like I didn't grow up a whole Christian, Catholic, anything like that. I was just kind of given my own opportunity, and I didn't really take to it recently. But I've always been interested in like different lores of gods and different mythologies and whatnot, with Greek, Roman, Norse, Hindu,
yeah.
you know, and shit like that. So like that in my head makes more sense than just a singular god. And it's because whether people do the sacrifices or all that stuff, like that's on them, but like just a god for each specific thing. It like breaks it down. It's like this person's responsible for this and this is this, and like I don't know if you've ever been overwhelmed with work.
No, never in my entire life.
Right.
No.
What's that feel
But-
like?
Work?
I don't know a single person that can manipulate and multitask to the extent that a singular god would. Mind you, he's a god, he can do whatever, but I just can't fathom a singular mind being able to multitask and break down, like equivalent in their head, just get everything out all at once. And so that's the hard part of.
So this is my thing too. Yeah, I thought that way too. And then my first question would be is, do you think God is a person, like a human, like a person, one of us? One of us. And then and then
That's what we
the second is
as.
the second is we can't picture something that does that much at one time. Like Kevin was saying in one of our episodes, it was we could picture 1 million, but it's harder to picture 1 billion.
Yep.
Like our mind, you were not going to be able to picture it. So I quit. Yeah. That's I realized I won't be able to picture this. Let me quit trying to figure this out. Someone already has it figured out.
Yeah. Let me hit on this too. So I know we talked about a few episodes ago, and this is not me shitting on religion, but religion to me is man's interpretation of what is, right? Of God, of life, whatever you want to call it. And I think, Devo, the problem that you're having is that you are seeing it from your mind's perspective. You're trying to fit God,
into your
which
life.
I think I know God. And God is a huge entity, and you're trying to fit it into this box that humans can understand. And you said you didn't grow up religious. I grew up somewhat Christian, somewhat, but I was rebellious, and that never
What?
made sense to me. That same thing. Like, there's no way that someone can control all of this. You know what I mean? But that is me trying to fit God into this human mind, right? You have to think outside of the mind. Does that make sense?
I got you.
Do you think
And
God is
that's just
a human person?
No.
Or is that what you
hell if I know.
picture?
Like, if that's what I picture, technically yes, because that's what's always been advertised,
Yeah, see, that's what I pictured
Yeah,
right?
too. And then I realized, like,
that's what's advertised.
it doesn't have to be a person. It's most likely not a human person.
Well, I think it's only advertised as a person because, like, how are you supposed to advertise some shit that, like, can work on a fourth dimension, let's say? It's
The
just like,
spaghetti monster,
yeah, no, shout out to Spaghetti
the
Monster. No,
Pastafarians.
because,
Oh,
like,
hello?
you know what I'm saying, though? Like, as humans, we think that, like, we view ourselves as, like, the apex species. And it's like, okay, well, on Earth we are. But it's like, I don't think you could kind of extrapolate that to everything. Like we're not even off this planet sustainably. Like there's got to be some alien that has like interplanetary life figured out, and it's like if they got that figured out, imagine what God could do. But it's like I kind of think about it like if you kind of had like a window in front of me and it was like, okay, on the other end of this is God, I could probably look at it and I wouldn't see anything because like my mind can't interpret what that even is.
The picture he's trying to show you.
You know what I mean?
I think.
Yeah, no, it's some crazy shit to think about, bro.
Like
What's
it's
helped
interesting.
me is that, and it kind of sounds like a cop out, but it's easy to just say that God is everything. And I told you guys earlier that I'm an omniist, where I can see the truth in all religion, and I'm more Christian based. I'm not a Christian, but I'm more Christian based, and that like God created everything. God created the heavens and the earth, right? And from a human standpoint, it's like, okay, God created a separate place called heaven and a separate place called hell, and apparently a place called earth. But in the big
apparently
picture, He created everything, everything, even beyond what your mind can comprehend, right? And from like a scientist standpoint, that's including the universe. But from an even bigger standpoint, I wouldn't even know what to call it. Like this fucking dimension, this world, you know. But when you're trying to contain it in this box so that you can easier understand it. But
Because like that's all we can do though.
yeah, there's
right,
no other option.
we have to have a beginning and an end. We have to have our lanes of fire, if you will. This is all we can see, and we have to understand what we can see. But what you have to realize is that there are worlds beyond that you will never understand. So that is how, to me, it's easy to say that God is everything. It's not. I don't see God as a old dude, old judgeful dude in the sky, like Old
What?
Testament. God is. It's what we're doing. Like what, you know.
No, it's hard because you got to find words for something that
It's
That you can't
hard to
describe.
explain.
Yeah.
like
Like it's
to kind of
inexplainable
portray.
almost.
It almost
Yeah.
transcends vocabulary.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about like demonic behavior? Like y'all think like not demons necessarily, but like evil.
Paranormal.
Yeah, almost. Or like I mean like a very like an evil force.
So
I
like,
don't. You're gonna have to dig deeper because I haven't thought about this yet. So you're gonna have to open my mind
I
are
up
you
a
love-
little
saying
more.
like from the Christian side, do you believe in like the satanic? Like
Yeah.
there is an evil force that's pulling you towards evil.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be like specific to the Christian religion. But
No. That's the only way that I can.
Yeah,
kind
Yeah,
of
that's why I
understand
No,
told
I
it.
get
like
it.
you're
Like,
gonna have to open it up way more than for me here.
yeah, so like I think that there's such thing as evil behavior, right? Whether that's like comes from demons or some other, malevolent force, who knows? But I think that a problem when a society becomes not religious is that evil is more allowed to kind of permeate everyone. And I definitely see some signs of that happening now where Americans as a whole, especially young ones, are not religious that much. And as a result, they're easier for an evil force to take over.
Yeah,
No, I want to hurt someone's feelings with this.
Send it, dude.
and it.
So it's gonna hurt all the younger generation, but
Welcome.
I feel like the reason why they aren't religious is because what does it give them? They have expressed how entitled they are to everything, and a religion in their head without constantly, giving or following it or anything. They just expect immediate results, and so they don't follow any type of religion.
Yeah. And like all they would need to do is look at what a lack of religion gives you. I see anger. I
Evil.
see confusion. I see people that don't know why they're here or what they're doing. I see people that are easy to take advantage of. And I'll pose you this question. If you're completely atheistic, you don't believe in any God at all, where do you derive the value for human life? Because like if you're not religious, a life or a person rather is nothing but a collection of atoms. So how do you value a person being completely secular? Tough one.
To bring
So
it back though,
Okay.
it sounded like you were talking about um the way to combat the evil force you think is here is through religion. Devo says the young kids aren't religious. Is there another way we could combat evil that isn't religion?
I want to say that I think that the reason why they're so deceptive to, like you said, anger and confusion, that itself is the evil. And I'm not
Gotcha.
vouching. Like, religion to me is a way to find God. But I don't think that Christianity is 100% true. I don't think that Hinduism is 100% true. I don't think Buddhism is 100% true. But I think that they are all avenues to discover who God is. But these people, or this younger generation that isn't religious, maybe it's because, I mean, we're almost at that age where, I mean, I have a kid, we're at that age where, like, we're going to be bringing up the new generation. I feel like people are not pushing religion on their kids. They're kind of letting them choose what they want. And if you let someone choose what they want, what are they going to choose? Are they going to choose pleasure in the world, or are they going to choose?
It's way easier to sit back and not look for the answer.
Yeah.
So like a kid isn't gonna he's not gonna want to go to church on Sunday. Why the fuck would he do that? He's got video games, He's got friends he could go play baseball with. Like,
Got a
the fuck?
podcast to run.
Yeah, you already know.
I kind of think of it's like you're not really like the kid's not doing what he wants, and like you're not letting him do whatever he wants. What you're doing is stripping him of the tools he needs to protect himself from these evil
That's how I started to see it. So Devo, you're kind of thinking about it. Let me break it down a little bit. So like all these things that I've been using, like gratitude, what else? Gratitude. We'll just stick with that because that's where I'm stuck on right now. But all the things that I was looking at to express my gratitude, I have two arms. I asked Taylor today, I need something because I'm hurting right now. He's like, dude, you got good health and you got a roof over your head. So like even gratitude, I didn't learn until probably 8-10 months ago, just to practice gratitude daily. Imagine if I learned that as a kid, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine
the easiest way to teach. Yeah, and the easiest way to teach it is through these stories, through the Bible, through religion. We don't have an answer to all these questions, but we can. The answer is God, and here are all these stories we can tell to give all these lessons and all these tools out. Think of the Bible as a toolbox.
I think too, like just telling your kids too that there is like evil forces in the world. I think that goes a long way because at least then they can recognize it. Like as a kid, they're not going to have the ability to really combat a lot of these things, but they need to be able to recognize it.
Yeah. So for me, an example, prime example is my divorce. I didn't run into like real evil until then. I didn't even think it was a real thing. I got overseas. I thought I was just playing the big game. Got back home and I was like, this is evil. This is something I've never experienced. This is something I've never even been taught about, never been. Like, I thought I could understand like World War II evil, all that evil. That's a large scale and it's kind of brushed over in school now anyways because it's just so saturated with bullshit, I would say. But yeah, it's like all the answers are this one person. We could combat it with all these tools. Why not give it to you if you could learn it at a young age without experiencing the evil yourself? Because yeah, I could have learned it, but the only way to learn it is repetition if I'm not experiencing it, for me at least. Repetition would have been Sunday school or whatever, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
And like the only way to go through it is to actually go through it.
Yeah.
You know,
But-
you can be taught it.
But I had no tools on how to get through it.
Yeah. You can be told all the evils of the world,
Yeah.
and you can maybe understand it, but you won't actually understand it until you've been through it.
Like the people that I'm talking about are like the people that like take kids to drag shows and that try and get abortions when they're 9 months pregnant. It's like I definitely would classify that as evil behavior. And I think that if you don't really have the ability to recognize that behavior, like there's no way to protect your kids from being subjected to that, because like it's like the evil behavior is always going to be on the offense, man. And there's just
it's always looking to take over a world.
Exactly.
Look at communism's trying to take over the world, and look what's not. The other side.
Yeah, it's
supposedly.
Like one side's always going to be on the offense, preying on things and people.
Prey on my downfall.
No, but like if you don't really have if you can't recognize that, it's coming for you anyway. You know, it'd be like going into battle without a gun.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Like everyone always told me, it happens to everybody. So I was going deep in the slumps, hurting, bro, deep down in depression. Yeah, could use a gallon a day if I could.
Whole.
And everyone said it happens to everyone, man. Like you just got to keep driving on. It happens to everyone. If it happens to everyone, why didn't no one prepare me for this? If we
Yeah.
all knew it already happened to everyone.
I hate that phrase because to me, when I hear that it happens to everyone, it makes me feel like right away off the top of the head, it makes
Little.
me feel like, okay, this is normal, so I'm supposed to just brush it off. I'm supposed to just accept it as normal. But more recently, I've discovered that, and this may not be their intention when they say it, but when people say that this happens to everyone, now it makes me think, well, I am not special. I am not the only person who has experienced this. There are other people who have experienced this. But where that phrase fucks you, like I said, is you kind of brush it off, you kind of play it off as normal. Oh, this is supposed to happen to everybody. But you're not, like Dana said, you're not given the tools to get past that, and then deal with it in a healthy way.
And it's not like it happens once either. Like I'm not only going through one bad thing in my life, so why would it not be smart to teach these kids how to
Right.
combat that?
Yeah,
Because it's embarrassing to admit.
it
And the reason
is.
why I say that is because, as many times as you'll hear it nowadays, no one gives a shit about men's mental health, dude.
Fact.
Like,
Facts.
you're a male, you're strong, get the fuck over it. Like, why are you not helping yourself? Why are you not trying to take advantage of all these things that are available when there's not shit available or no one wants to listen because you are a male and it's your job to be strong and to do shit and not to give a shit. So there's no man that's gonna fucking up and admit, yeah, dude, life fucking sucks right now. And so how are we supposed to combat it if nobody's looking into it or studying it or trying to figure out what works best for us?
Yeah.
No,
Well, I
And
think
that's
that's
super
where
good.
religion comes in, is because, like, even today, bro, I was like in the shower, or no, I think I was just coming back in from my outside, or yeah, I was sitting outside smoking and joking. And I was like, dude, I need something to get me out of this mindset. My mind was hurting before this, bro. Ask KD. I
Needs
was
some milk.
I was hurting before this. So there you go. If you're hurting right now, I was hurting about an hour ago. So so
Hey, you
it
hear that
happens.
intro,
So it
dude?
happens to everyone. Get over it.
Yeah. Drive on.
Yeah.
Pussy.
No,
pussy.
I forgot where I was going, bro.
Damn
Well,
it. I
so and
knew
I
I
want to
should
go
have
back
said
to
shit.
what Devo said, and that's like a generational problem, you know? The whole you're a man, fucking deal with it, like you shouldn't have feelings. The truth is we all have fucking feelings. And I'm not saying that you should cry every time that you fucking feel something, but when you are feeling something, that is like when you have emotions, that is your body's natural reaction to tell you that something is wrong. Like when someone's yelling at you, like think about at work when fucking E6 is yelling at you because you fucked up. Your heart starts racing, your blood starts pumping, you start getting heated, you kind of want to yell back. That is your body's natural reaction saying, "This dude's a fucking asshole when he's yelling at me, and I'm getting pissed off about it." Right?
Or
So it's
the
not
opposite, where you
not
shut
that you need
down.
to not that you need to push those feelings aside and ignore them, but use those feelings to realize, okay, if you did fuck up, then use those feelings to be like, you're right, I did fuck up, and learn from that and fucking move on. Not move on and ignore it, but move on, take what you need from it, learn something from it, and don't do it again.
Yeah, so that's how
You
I
know what I
got
mean?
out of my mindset. It's like I was like, man, so I have the answer. I just haven't spoken the answer. What am I still tripping for? Like, if I'm too much of a bitch to say it out loud, and I've missed out on my opportunities. I've had an opportunity to say what's on my mind, and I haven't. Quit tripping, because now it's my fault. So I have two options. I could let someone know how I feel and why I'm hurting, or I could suffer in silence. So this is where I was going earlier, is it's not embarrassing when you're praying to God. Because a pray, that's what I did. I needed to change my mindset. I went and I was like, all right, I'm going to go pray. First time in my life I ever done that. And it was way different than what I thought it was supposed to be. I was able to just like talk, like
What do you think it
you
was
know,
gonna be?
like
Like a
people
song?
say it's like you know, like it's like take a knee, close your eyes, hand on the
Oh,
Bible, and like you got to do it before you go to bed, right when you wake up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people
like these
are so
rules,
strict with
yeah.
it. Yeah. So I was like, look, I need to change my mindset, and it helped me out. So I don't know if it was, you know, God giving me the answer, or if it was just me thinking about it. You know,
Can I ask you a question, Trevor?
send
Or
it.
both.
When you were praying, you said that uh, you didn't have that feeling, right, of like being judged or whatever. Like you could just talk
Yeah.
and it felt good. Do you think it felt good because you were legitimately talking to God, or do you feel good because you didn't have to deal with the judgment of the world if another man heard you
No,
say,
it's because I wasn't
you're
doing
a
it
person?
alone. It's because I wasn't doing it alone.
Okay.
It wasn't like I was. So before I was tackling all my problems, it was. I mean, KD knows for sure, and I'm sure Brandon knows. It was me up in my head, brainstorming ideas. What's the answer? Let me figure it out so I can solve it. But now it was like today, me praying was my thinking, which I didn't know. It's been hard for me to think recently, be more mindful, and it was like me talking to someone about my problems, knowing the answer the answer is in me. I already have the answer. So I'm
Yeah.
literally just talking through the problem with somebody who's listening, who I know is listening. Because I know even if he's not up there, I'm at least talking to the spirit I believe is causing all these coincidences to happen. So if it's not God, I'm talking because I've been thinking since I started thinking about all this shit, since I started manifesting, like you said, I started this podcast. I'm hoping it becomes more successful. It starts pretty good right now. Hit the ground running. Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
You already know. But
44.
I'm no longer doing it alone. Like all these issues I run into, I have the answer. The answer's deep down in my brain, or it's up and the coincidence is coming. I just got to believe the coincidence is coming. Pull yourself together and quit tripping because you in the process, Steve Harvey says.
Wow.
Dude, speaking of Steve Harvey, let me throw a bit in. You spoke earlier about how Steve Harvey says to like your gift to this earth is to do like what you're good at and what you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
You said that you are good at thinking and you're good at helping people out and whatnot. So what happens when you can't think, right? And this isn't for everybody, but like for you, like you just said that you were having trouble thinking. How can you
Oh,
pull yourself out
it's a
of that
mess,
rut?
bro. It is a mess.
Because if
Cause
that's your gift and you're not
yeah,
doing your gift,
yeah. So it's more of negative thoughts taking over my brain, so I'm not thinking. So it's like I'm focused in on negative thoughts. I can't listen to a song because some situation is bothering me so much to where I can't think, literally, because I'm still thinking about the situation that happened 6 days ago. So I'm a mess because I'm literally not able to think. Do my gift, what I was born to do, what I believe I was born to do, and what I believe I do better than most, and people are missing out if I'm not doing it. I'm no longer able to provide the information I do through my thinking, if that makes sense. Now all those people are suffering too because I haven't spoken out. So it's a mess. It's a mess. In order to get out, my solution this time to get out was praying. Normally it's the same thing, but the way I got to it this time was praying. So normally it is finding the answer and then realizing I have the answer. Calm down, you have the answer. All you got to do is speak it to existence.
Salvation lies within, Trevor. The
Amen.
Shawshank Redemption.
Amen.
No,
no.
dude, it's like I just like the reflection part of it because it's almost empowering too because you realize like whether that answer came to me or I already had it in me, I just had to find it. It's still a lot of legwork on your part, so it's not like oh you pray and like the answer just falls from the sky. So it's like it's this very gratifying feeling I think to be like oh because it's not like it's a big kind of thing with us, like men, like we want to fucking fix shit ourselves, and in a way, you kind of still are. You're just getting a little help with it. It's like the ultimate therapist, I think.
And like Trevor was saying, like when you're praying, I want to say, like, on one hand, you don't know who you're talking to. You might be talking to God, or you might literally just be having a conversation with yourself. But you're talking through that problem,
Mm-hmm.
and you very well might have the answer within you, and you just have to find it. You have to, like you said, do the legwork, and work through those issues. And for some people, probably talking it out loud. To me, I call it being present. Like when you can just get rid of the distractions, you stop thinking. To me, it's you stop thinking. When you stop thinking about everything that's happening, that's when you like can actually search for the answers.
That's when you're your
You know what I
true
mean?
self. Because
Exactly.
when you stop thinking, you have no more emotions. You're not thinking through your emotions. You're thinking through your true self.
A bit
Let
kind
me
of like
throw
your
a loop in.
All right.
send it, Devo.
So, in basic,
What?
I know all these basic training stories, right? But
Back
in
in my day.
basic, I had tried going to, church or whatever they would consider it on Sundays because it was just a classroom with people reading the Bible. Um, and at first, like I said, I didn't grow up religious. So at first, it was kind of just a break from the army and just separating myself out, like recollecting my thoughts, like you guys said. But when we did praise or prayers, I felt like I wasn't talking to anyone and it was myself. And then I didn't go to anything in AIT. I got to the unit, hung out here for like a year and a half, and one of the guys was like, "Dude, come to church with me." He's like, "Let's just do this." So I went back, and again, I felt like I was talking to no one during every prayer. It was just like my conscious, and this is where it's gonna sound really weird, and I don't know how to explain it, but after getting into a more Norse pantheology type deal and like learning, about the lores and the different stories and the expressions and everything, explanations, um, I can pray to Odin. And at first, the first thing I say every time is like, Odin grant me strength. And as soon as I say that, I feel like I'm heard. And so like how would you explain something like that? Because, like you were saying, whether you don't know who you're actually talking to, it's someone just above. But like, I was reaching out, couldn't get anything, and I did it multiple times, different years, and then now it's a different title in a sense. Um, and now I actually feel heard rather than just talking to myself. Or was it just I needed to grow in order to
Yeah.
get something back?
Yeah. You had to wait it out. That's what I think. You just had to wait it out to get your answer.
Yeah, I think we could argue about which religion is correct for ever.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just think it kind of boils down to like what speaks to you the most. Like, 'cause
Wait,
you look
yeah,
at
Kevin, we never dove in. When no one ever asked you your journey, like how you found God.
oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, I went to church in basic training too, and it like just wasn't really my thing. Like, I went with my friend Brand just cause. But like, I was like you, Devo. Like, I just didn't feel anything, and then I was in Afghanistan for the COVID shit, and my homie asked me to come to a Bible study with him. And like we weren't doing anything, so I was like, I mean, shit, okay. Like I got like literally I had nothing else to do. And so like I go to it, and like a lot of the shit that he's saying like makes sense to me. Like it's stuff that like I could understand, I could kind of digest, and a lot of it just kind of clicked. And then it's like, well, okay, now I don't have to worry as much
Yep.
about shit that I can't control because it wasn't in my hands in the first place.
Yep.
And that just kind of led me. It was like a snowball effect almost. Is like once I saw that I could be happy relinquishing control of my life, I could see how that applies to everything. And then that got me, down the gratitude path. and then got me wanting to like not pay it forward, but kind of give back. Like I haven't fucking like I'm just me, man. But like I definitely think like it's kind of hard to have the answers and not really want to like bring them up. Like I'd tell you about like that I believed in God. I wasn't quiet about that, but like the last thing I'm trying to do is like, oh, I'm a Christian, so like you should be too. Like there's nothing that fucking drives me up a wall more than like, oh, I'm this religion, and you should be too.
Honestly, that might be the answer to my question, because I mean, I'm stubborn, hard-headed, whatever you want to consider, and I hate being told or forced upon an idea. And so when I was in, basic going through that, like I didn't get to have a say, like, oh, could we read this or could we talk about this, or like let me like get more knowledgeable about it and actually break things down. But I've been doing this Norse thing by myself, doing the research, doing what I can, and now I actually see something. So it might entirely be just from the fact that I finally wasn't forced for something. And
Yeah,
I talked
like
about that on one of our episodes, man. It was like it's finally not forced down my throat. What was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was when I watched Forrest Gump. Like I finally stepped back and watched it like through the symbolism aspect and all that, like they talk about in school. Like foreshadowing. Look at the foreshadow here.
Ooh.
Check it out. But that was forced down my throat all growing up, and I never did it until about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
I feel that, and that's why I say like I grew up Christian, but I kind of had that rebellion against it because, and this may be true for anybody with any religion, but for me and with Christianity in particular, like I felt like I was being force fed what to believe, and if you didn't believe what we believe, then you're wrong. And to go off of what Devo was saying, like I think the reason why maybe you didn't have that feeling or those answers that you were looking for the first time is because you already had that mindset of, religion's never worked for me, church has never worked for me, so this is not going to work. However, when you started doing your own work,
Yeah.
and you said Norse Pantho I don't know
yeah,
how to say it.
pantheology
Pantheology, okay,
or
that
pantheon, whatever's
is
easy.
your way of understanding God. Now, to you, and there's nothing wrong with this, to you, there may be many different gods. To me, I see God as all one thing. But for you, what helps you was you did the work yourself and you were able to understand it. You were able to get some of the answers as you want. That's why I think like religions are, like I said, the pathway to find God, but you cannot find God unless you do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like nobody can tell you or show you who God is. They can show you the path via religion, but you cannot find God until you do it yourself.
I
Let me
agree.
play devil's advocate for you there. We were just talking earlier about how, kids are growing up without religion. At what time should you either and it's gonna sound bad, but what time do you either introduce them to the religion that you have, or introduce them into other religions to let them branch? Because like I didn't find religion until I was like end of 22, 23 years old, and so like I mean I'm a little fucked up. I got Tourette's, but like, but like,
We're all a little
I,
Had me fooled.
I'm just saying,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Everyone's fucked up. Devo, get over it.
yeah,
we're all
but
a
I'm saying
little
like
Be a man.
like I didn't turn out as a bad person or this evil spirit or anything like that, and I had no religion until last year, So
No, religion had you. You didn't have religion.
But like he didn't know that though. Like I get what you're saying, Devo.
yeah.
yeah, but like, is it the religion that's going to make the generation, or is it going to be the parents who actually enforce things to a certain extent? I'm not saying be a Hitler about it, but like, when do you start introducing religions into children's age groups?
Brandon, answer that.
You're the
That
only
is a
one with a
hard.
degree.
That's a hard question. I feel like if you know your kid can take information and actually learn from it, then start as early as possible. But to me, like I I'm kind of on the same boat with you as far as like finding religion at a later age, because like I said, I was, and my parents were not they didn't take me to church. Like I had cousins that went to church, aunt and uncles that went to church. So my parents just kind of like every once in a while we would go to church, but my parents didn't like force it on me. And I don't know if I am mad about that. I wish that they would have been a little bit more hard, because maybe I would have figured this out a lot sooner. And I'm not saying I haven't figured out, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely a lot farther today than I was, a few years ago. But I don't think you need religion, because
No. I think
religion is a way to help you find God, but I don't think that that's the only way to find God. I personally feel like I found God without religion. I was rebellious against religion. I thought religions were a made up story, and I still kind of think that they're made up stories in a way. However, I don't deny that there is some truth in all of them. You know what I mean? And I think once I kind of accepted that there was truth in all religions, like I said, every religion is a path towards God. And once I've accepted that there's truth in all of it, it kind of made one wide path that, okay, well, all of these like kind of make sense. Let me put all this together. Now I have one very like straightforward path towards God, and I don't need religion.
yeah.
I would like to read the Bible, but I don't need to read the Bible
Yeah, so I think
to understand it.
yeah, I think my answer based off Brandon's answer, kind of he made me think more about it. I learned about religion like 3 days ago. uh, but I had the tools already. Like I said, all the shit I've been saying, Steve Harvey was saying, just putting God after it. So I think for my kid, I want to show him or her the tools that religion has given me, and then they can explore it on their own.
Yep.
Unless who knows? I'm going to church this Sunday. Maybe I like going to church every Sunday, and then I'm like, hey, you want to try church with me? They'll be like, why do you go to church? And I say, well, I go to church because of this. Hopefully, it's an open-minded kid because it's me. Hello, and then they'll go to church.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't be hard-headed as hell.
No.
I mean, I can tell you my kind of plan with that,
Sunday.
if y'all are interested. Like, I kind of plan on raising my kids to not want to disappoint me. Like, I don't really think that, like, being a stern dickhead dad is, like, the way to go. I think your kids are going to be much better off if they don't want to disappoint you. So that's kind of where I'd start. But I wouldn't necessarily kind of compel them to whatever religion that I'm doing. I would more introduce them to concepts like God and like evil, but I wouldn't say, come with me to this Latin mass, for example. It would more just be like me kind of telling them about them on a conceptual level, but not so much me saying, you have to come to church with me. Like if they want to, so be it. They can come, obviously. But like I just think that forcing kids to do something is really never going to work. Like if you tell anyone or really anyone to do anything, they're going to want to do the opposite, especially a kid. So I think it's just better to kind of teach them about these concepts and then let them kind of find their own path.
Devo, what's your answer?
Yeah, Devo, I'm interested. You have a kid.
I do have a kid. I don't know, man.
You have a kid.
All right.
Well, you gotta have thought about it a little bit.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, I'm not like super religious, right? Like I said, I believe more into the Norse pantheon. But with my kid, like, I don't go to church for anything Norse wise. Like, it's all internal, in house, whatever. But if I sit here and do it real quick, But I don't know, because like I said, I was never religious growing up, and I turned out somewhat of a decent human being. And so it's like kind of up to her. Like I'm sure she'll hear it growing up through schools because I think I was just thinking about it when you guys were talking. I think one of the biggest times that religion affects a younger generation is that like 4 to 8 year old period. And I say that because when did your parents start letting you stay home by yourself?
Mine still don't actually.
He's at home right now.
Yeah, my mom's
Like
in the other room.
my parents, it was around like 10 or 11, but I also had a brother
Yeah, I
the
was
Yeah.
gonna
same
say
age.
double digits is when I got.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
I remember
right around
walking home in elementary school. So yeah, like 10.
like right around 10 like that. My brother was the same age, so there was two of us, it basically made us a 20-year-old. um but like you aren't gonna find a babysitter, or not everyone will find a babysitter from the age 4 to 10 every Sunday. And so what are they going to do? They're going to bring their kids to church, whether they become rebellious, whether they believe it or not. Like, I think that is one of the biggest times that religion
Mm,
is going to have an
yeah,
effect, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
I
'Cause,
didn't think about that.
like I would like to explore churches. I'm kind of on Trevor's level. I would like to explore different churches, and I'm kind of curious what church you're gonna go to. But I would like to explore different churches, but I don't plan on making it a habit because I don't think that I don't feel like I need that. I don't need to go to church every Sunday to feel sane, you know. So I can't really answer that because I don't think that I'm gonna need to take my kid to church unless she wants to, you know. But I do want to ask you, how old's your daughter?
2.5.
So you said that you grew up without religion and you turned out decent.
Alive.
Do you want your kid to turn out decent like you, or do you want her to conquer the world and do better than
Yeah,
you?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If I ever learned about religion at age 4, like you're saying it was, I could only imagine where I'd be at.
And it may not be religion itself, but I I think finding God is a better term, whether
Yeah,
that be through religion or through your own spirituality or through Norse pantheon, whatever your course is. I feel like finding God and realizing that, like we talked about before, that you do have the answers within yourself. You just have to do the work to find that.
yeah,
So, to go off that, you said earlier that we as humans have to have this box to just to get all the answers, to have something make sense, right? And how and mind you, like with Trevor 3 days ago, me last year, Kevin, whenever he deployed 2, 3 years ago, whatever it was, right? Um, like if we're just now getting a general understanding or concept or belief of this God figure, how are you going to explain this to a 4-year-old?
you don't.
And how are they going to, like, even just the concepts behind it? Like,
Yeah,
hey,
that's what I was gonna
I
say.
it's like, I can't even break it down into that. And so, especially with the Norse pantheon, it's a difficult one because like I'm gonna have to tell my 4-year-old like, hey, there's a God for everything in a sense, and like, oh, if you want to fight someone, this is the God that you would talk to or look into. And like I was looking up Fenrir, who is big in Norse mythology, and he is a big ass dog. And so my kid, mind you, she's 2.5, and she's like in her little Paw Patrol stage, but she sees it, and all she can say is puppy. Like,
Hell,
there's no way I'm going to be able to break down the basic understanding or the reality of what this dog actually is, um, because all she's going to be thinking about is puppy. And so there's no boxing it in for a child.
Yeah.
And so if
Well,
you were going to start teaching, what would be the easiest way in order to explain this overall concept?
yeah, I don't think there's a easy way to explain it. I think the easiest way to explain it is, look, I don't have an explanation, but this is who I go to for an explanation.
No,
and
but like,
also,
Yeah.
Also, you may not have to or get to teach a 4-year-old what God is, but you mentioned that the concepts. I feel like maybe not at 4, but as they get older, you can definitely explain the concepts of what you're talking about. You may not explain God itself, what it is, but you can definitely help with the concepts. And I think you were talking about like if you didn't grow up with religion. Well, I think as you go on with life, you are always going to come up with some issue in your life. That like I think even the most sheltered kid, like you're still going to come up with problems in your life, and you as a parent need to be you have to have a good understanding
In
to be
those
able to gauge
time
your kid
periods
better.
where your kid comes to you and they're upset,
Yeah.
that's where you
Yeah, what?
sit with where your kids is upset or
Oh,
whatever. That's where you say those concepts like practice gratitude. That's a concept from the Bible. Look, I
yeah.
learned
Yeah.
this through this or whatever. You be open with your kid. But with that, fellas, I'm sorry we gotta head out here. It is a little late. Sorry, we're at 1:10 on time. But I apologize. Got some personal shit going on, but we will tap it. I do enjoy the 4-way convo. Gives me time to
Oh
think
yeah.
about what the person is saying, so I could just kind of pass the convo on to someone else. So there will be more. There will be
Hey, we didn't
more.
even finish.
I know, dude. I know.
All right,
But
well,
it's
let me at least just say my 2 other notes
yeah,
real
that
quick.
yeah, that yeah.
30 seconds.
Go for
Because
it.
I mean, I had to take the notes. So there's that long paragraph. And then this will be the next topic.
Is this
Poop
going to be
thoughts.
an F-150 ad?
No, not this
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Poop thoughts. That was just what was going on in my head at that time. And then the big question to end the night. Do you call it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Neither.
Are we talking about the movie or the place?
What?
Same spelling, same word, same place, bro.
What the fuck?
Wait, no, that's a
Yeah,
good
is
question
it
because
Caribbean or Caribbean?
I say Pirates of the Caribbean, but I say Caribbean.
Say Caribbean on both.
Hey, shout out to Johnny Depp. If you're listening, we'd love to have you on.
Bro, if Johnny Depp
Same.
listens to this show, dude, I'll fucking shave my head.
What else you got,
That's
Devo? Is that
That's all
it?
I.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all my notes for the night.
All right, all right. Well, fellas, with that, I guess I could leave a quote. This is one that was very hard for me to understand, actually, from Steve Harvey. Uh, Justice is when you get what you deserve. Mercy is when you don't get what you deserve. Grace is when you get what you don't deserve. Justice is when you get what you deserve. Mercy is when you don't get what you deserve. Grace is when you get what you don't deserve.
Hopefully, I get some grace, bro.
We could all use a little grace.
Yes, sir.
With that, fellas, glad you guys came on, and we'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Peace.